because she wants to, and that's part of what it means to be in a couple. He doesn't have the capacity at that point to do it for himself. So she's going to step in knowing that it's only going to be temporary. That's the first time mothering can happen. The second time mothering can happen, if she's doing it as a means to gain favor or as a means of rewarding something that he's already done. She feels good about it. She feels there's a sense of attraction and an additional closeness in the relationship. That comes under women's emotional need number 5, the fear of abandonment. That's usually because this was a story from a client of mine who was in this situation. He would wake up on, let's say, a Sunday morning, and that particular Sunday morning he had things to do in the garden, so he just went right out. He just spent the entire morning working in the garden, doing some form of construction work, and his wife saw this, and she decided that she was going to make him breakfast or, do something nice for him. Mm-hmm. The following Sunday, he didn't have any work to do. He woke up, decided he was just going to take the day to relax. And at one point, late in the morning, he turns to his wife and says, hey, how about breakfast?
I know where this is going. And what happened?
Well, needless to say, she was not thrilled with the fact that he would just, he's sitting there lounging around and he's asking her for breakfast. She felt taken for granted. She was not at all happy. He couldn't figure out why. Because in his mind, he's thinking, as a man, well, she made me breakfast last week, so why wouldn't she make me breakfast this week?
Right, right.
So I went in there and I said, look, she made you breakfast the last time because you were busy doing something else. So she's looking to win favor with you. You went out and did something that she appreciated. She did this thing for you as a nice token to say, hey, I'm showing you that I appreciate you. Why? Because I'm letting you know I don't take you for granted because I don't want you to abandon me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When he is sitting there lounging around and then turning around and expecting her to do something, she ends up feeling like his mother. She's fighting against her own mothering instinct at that point. Why? Because she knows that if she starts making him breakfast like that, she herself will lose attraction for him. She's out to save the relationship.
Right.
So she gets angry with him and says, like, what the hell? Are you taking me for granted?
Right.
Meanwhile, he's completely oblivious. Okay.
It can't be that oblivious. I mean, come on.
Yes, men are that oblivious because we are not emotional. We're not emotional thinkers.
Okay.
Listen, I'm saying this as a man. I was this oblivious about 10 years ago, or I should say 15 years ago. I didn't have an understanding of an emotional reality. I didn't have an understanding then of emotional needs. Now I can look at it and say, well, of course she's going to be angry. He could have done it himself. He chose not to. He was like a little boy who says, Mommy, make me breakfast. And the rage in her kicked in, and lucky for him it did, because she was trying to save her relationship by saying, no, I don't want to act like your mother. So when I explained that to him, the light bulb went off, and that was the end of the story. He got it. He understood, if it's something that I can do myself, I should do it myself. Why? Because it stops her mothering instinct from kicking into that relationship, so it maintains the attraction. This is why it is so easy for a married woman to desire an affair, because at some point in every long-term relationship, somewhere along the lines, she starts to feel like she's mothering her husband. And as much as she may still adore her husband, the attraction isn't there because she's starting to have motherly feelings towards him. A man is oblivious. And, okay, remember I always said a woman can only play one of two roles in a man's life, mother versus lover? All right, here's my theory from the male perspective. A man will categorize a woman in one of two ways. She's either his ally or she is his enemy. If she gets classified as an enemy, he runs, he dumps her, he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. If he categorizes her as an ally, a man does not make the distinction between a mother and a lover because both the mother and the lover play an ally role in his life. That's why when a woman starts mothering him, he doesn't necessarily have the instinct to say, stop mothering me. When part of my process is that I went 5 years with no sex and no affection to having 5 girlfriends at the same time. During the time that I had the 5 girlfriends at the same time, these women would try to do things for me, and I would put my foot down and say no. One woman said, "Oh, I'd be more than happy to do your laundry." Never asked her. This is something that came out of the blue. And I said, "No, you're not my mother. When you're with me, we're here to have fun. You're not here to do my laundry." Another girl woke up early one morning, and she did my dishes and swept